Sucker Punch asked if I would be interested in working on Ghost and directing all the missions for the game and all the open world gameplay, which of course I love doing, and I hope you all enjoy playing. They're up in Seattle, actually, and I'm in Los Angeles, so I am the #1 consumer of the Burbank to Seattle plane flights in California, I think, at this point.
Oh, well, thank you for your service, I guess.
I'm always up in Seattle.
Beautiful. So did you, your move to the States in 2008, do you think that was kind of like the defining point of getting yourself into a US-based AAA studio like Sucker Punch?
We were working on a game called The Saboteur, which became a little bit of a cult hit after the fact, and we all got fired as soon as it was done. So.
We're all getting fired after this is done.
Yeah.
That's right. So if nothing else, we are consistent.
We'll be able to, yeah. Now, your main role at Sucker Punch, or your role is campaign director. For anyone out there, including myself, what exactly does a campaign director do? Can you describe what is your day-to-day role there?
Sure. It is a very fancy way of saying I direct all the missions, a lot of the open world gameplay, but mostly what I do is play the game with 100 cans of LaCroix next to me, or sparkling water.
Oh my God, I love
play the game over and over again with the designers and try to work out how it's going.
Can I ask how many times you've played Ghost of Yōtei so far?
I think it's 7 or 8 at this point, yeah. All kinds of different playthroughs we do. And
I thought more, honestly.
So Ghost of Tsushima obviously was a massive hit and very much loved by players around the world.
Oh, thank you.
You're welcome. Coming off the back of such a successful title, what were the aspirations or challenges in creating Ghost of Yōtei as a legacy sequel?
First it was don't F it up, was probably the big one.
Fair.
Yeah. And then there was no pressure whatsoever. But it is truly a very beloved franchise by people and story. And there was this big idea of what if we could tell the tale of a wandering mercenary, because we love films like Yojimbo, and the Lone Wolf and Cub series is another really cool one. If you ever get a chance to see it, recommend it. And of course, when we're thinking of a new hero or an origin story, we're always trying to work out, what if I could not just see that in a film or read about it in a manga, but actually play it every day? So we started thinking about why people love Ghost so much, and then the excitement of what it would be like to play as a kind of vengeful, wandering sellsword out for blood. And then finally, we got really excited about Hokkaido, and we went over there ourselves, and it almost felt like a cowboy universe brought to life. And we realized, well, this is going to be great because our hero is out for blood. But in Japan in that era, Hokkaido was actually north of the law of the shogunate. So we could fill it with bounties and threatening characters and ronin and curious mysteries and lore. And then we started getting really excited because we had the peanut butter and chocolate together. A vengeful, wandering mercenary and a lethal, almost cowboy-like world.
It's got a fantastic cinematic tone to it, and a big part of it feels like a Western as well. I've loved that aspect of it. The game is out. It came out last Tuesday, I believe, here in Australia. What's it been like now out in the wild, seeing audience reactions? Review scores have been fantastic.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I'm entirely too online right now.
Good,
TikTok streams of people and Twitch streams.
So you're watching people stream it on TikTok?
Oh, yeah.
Your game that you made that is famously widescreen, you're watching in vertical.
Yeah, although
You can turn your phone.
you can turn your phone, and you can gift people on TikTok as well. So I'm always lurking in there, watching people. But everyone plays on lethal. Did you know this? They all play on lethal.
Oh.
Yeah.
I don't have the
I
guts
love
for that.
streaming the game on lethal.
Pete's enjoying just riding through a field right now.
Honestly, if this game was just about picking young bamboo, I would be playing it all day, every day. It's all I do. I just ride around in circles picking young bamboo. But look at this. We're just like riding with Mustangs.
The game is surprisingly chill.
It's awesome.
Well, you talked a little about the setting and your inspirations for it. Can you talk us a little through, like, again, the research you guys did? As you said, you traveled over there. What sort of inspiration you drew from being over there?
So we went to Hokkaido, and if you ever have the chance to visit the north of Japan, it's spectacular. It is these fields that seem to go forever. It's cliffs that, I mean, if you went too close to the edge, you'd probably never be seen again. The drama behind Hokkaido and the natural world is truly wild. And I still remember it would bring tears to your eyes because the wind was so wild against your skin. And
We've got your tourist snaps up behind you, though, at the same time, sort of to prove.
We don't have the tears, though, unfortunately.
You look really happy in that one, actually.
I was happy, yeah, it was fantastic.
Oh, man.
But there was like an emotion to it that is quite uncommon. And so when we went to make the game, we were trying to bring that emotion of the spaces back to life. But they're not always the most intuitive game design spaces. There's lots of fog, there's fields, which, I mean, traditionally are not maybe the best game design because they are huge empty spaces. And so we had to come up with all kinds of tricks to create curious little landmarks and exciting things to explore. But we were really determined to not let go of those shapes and structures and organics that we saw in Hokkaido.
Yeah, well, that, I mean, you know, the dedication is very clearly seen. Was there a particular moment or location in Yōtei that the team is especially proud of creating?
We went to the foot of Mount Yōtei. There's a really quite nice hotel that we were fortunate enough to stay at. And up the top, there's an onsen where you can see Mount Yōtei. So here is a bunch of game developers in an onsen.
Researching.
Which we are naked and have not worked. I had not worked with everyone that much at this point.
Oh, so you were all becoming very comfortable with each other very quickly.
But we realized Mount Yōtei was not nearly big enough in the game. The problem is our art director was in the female hot tub. And so we're all discussing how big Mount Yōtei needs to be, and she is in the other onsens. But afterwards, we all had to get together and have a drink and work it out.
Compare hot tub notes.
Hot tub notes, and we all had to sort of furiously work out, it needs to be way more majestic than we thought it was. And it actually became a big part of the heart and soul of the game. The shadow of Mount Yōtei. Cool. Yeah.
We'll move on just quickly to look at a couple of moments in the game that we're very excited to show off to the audience as well. But again, just as you said, sort of navigating or negotiating the balance between faithfully recreating it. As you said, there's some stylization, or there's obviously some elements that's far more cinematic. Where did you guys how did you communicate drawing that line between what needed to be there for the style versus the sort of accuracy?
We were like super fortunate because Tsushima had actually set up some of the process for working with our consultants and our advisors who work on the game. And we have a lot of fans of the game in Japan who give us a lot of feedback, and some team members in Japan at PlayStation who, obviously we feel a big commitment to honor the style of Japanese cinema, but also to do our partners proud. So we're always trying to work out that line between making it stylized like a Japanese film versus making it truly authentic. And it's a lot of back and forth, and we actually redo some work occasionally, whether it's to do with an Ainu pattern, or whether it's to do with the way light filters through things, or even the shapes of different objects that you can find in the game. But it's a big commitment for us, and it is something we take very seriously.
Well, again, handled amazingly in the game, and I'll draw the attention to one of the moments in the game. We're going to take a little quick breather from this very serious but very interesting conversation to have a look at probably my favorite moment in the game, or like activity that you can do in it. This is the bamboo chop or the bamboo strike moment in the game, which is how you gain certain skill points.
It's where you get your focus points. They're vital to using some of the stronger attacks, but also for healing during the game. So when you find a bamboo strike location in the world, it's a big deal. It's a big deal. But it's not a given. You don't just get the upgrade for free. Gus, you've been playing a bit of the game. Ruby, you're yet to pick it up, but you're going to slot right into this, I reckon. I'm going to get you to do some bamboo striking, okay? Warm the hands up. Yeah. You got the special edition controller.
Oh, shoot.
Okay.
Oh, no, we're right in. Okay.
We're just going straight into this.
Okay.
Can you see those? Can you read them? Do you need?
Yes.
Yep. I can dictate if you need me to.
Ooh, and in front of an audience.
I see. Wait, so I gotta be fast with it. I gotta be
No
quick
one
with
saw
it.
that. You got to. So
Yeah, close your eyes.
the beautiful trick of it is you see it, and then as soon as you put the first action in, everything else disappears, and it becomes a mindfulness game.
Yeah, and you do it quick.
You got to do it so quick.
You gotta do it quick.
Circle,
style.
triangle,
Okay,
circle, Ruby. You got this.
Okay.
Hang on,
Now
it
you
gets
gotta do
harder.
five. There's more.
It gets
Now you gotta
harder.
do
Keep
five.
it.
There you go, do 5.
No, it's fine. I'm chill with it. Don't worry. Don't worry about it.
Same one as before,
Word,
and then
word,
two
word.
L1s.
Yeah.
Rob, any tips?
Get closer to the screen.
Get closer to the screen.
There's a big one behind
Do
you,
you want to go
Ruby.
for a walk?
There we
Go
go.
and stand up there.
I'm just going to turn her back on the audience.
You're going to have to crane your neck a little bit, but this should be good.
Oh!
It's all right. It's all right. Mindfulness. You've got this. Close. Here it is.
You've all got nowhere to be, right? We can do this for as long as we
We
need.
can strike all day.
Hey!
Okay, now there's 7. Now you got to do 7. It's just a little bit more. It's just 2 more buttons.
to my knees.
It's just 2 more buttons. It's fine.
Okay.
Same as before. You're building up to it.
Just because everyone missed that, it was off mic. Ruby said da 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 da.
Not bad.
So you were too slow there.
You're too slow. All right.
Oh, close!
Come on!
This is a sit-down job.
Lock in.
This is a sit-down job, everyone.
Well done.
Huge effort. Do you want to talk us through that? I'll just take us to the next one so that Gus
Well,
can have a
I was going to
strike
ask,
as well.
Rob, you mentioned backstage, a little behind the scenes. That was something that you guys was intended in the game the whole way through. But talk us through the development of adding those elements into it.
Oh, sure. Yeah, I mean, one of the interesting things from this game is, like, how much do you retain from Tsushima and how much do you change? And we always take those conversations really seriously at the studio, like whether we're swapping out the stances with the weapons in this game was like a huge conversation back and forth because the stance system is so cherished for players. And we knew we wanted to bring the bamboo chops back, but there was a few of them in the game that had a little twist or a little extra element to them, like someone who wants to challenge you before you can fight. And then quite close to the end of development, players started telling us, oh, we really like these. We like when there's an extra element to them or a little twist to the formula or a little, maybe even a little story to it. And we thought, we should do some more of these.
Yep.
We should get a couple more of them in the game. And so we started looking at every bamboo chop and every onsen and all the wolf dens in the game and thinking, well, how can we plus them up? The problem was Erika Ishii, our fabulous actress, had finished recording dialogue for the game, so we couldn't get any more voice lines for Atsu. And so it was almost like an Apollo 13 mission to work out, okay, well, how can we come up with a little puzzle for these? Because players are liking them so much, but how can we do it without any dialogue from Erika?
Right.
And so that's why some of them in the game have a little note on them, like 2 drink minimum before you can do this bamboo chop. And some of them actually ended up being super creative and super clever because we couldn't do the dialogue, and it was actually a pretty fun effort from the team. Am I meant to be doing this?
Well, we're going to give Gus a go, but you
Oh,
grabbed
yeah.
that with
Please,
such
we wanna show you.
enthusiasm
You
that
were
I
so
would
ready
love to
for
see it.
that.
But we do actually have a way for you to participate in the next one if you want
Piece
to
of
let
cake.
Gus have a go.
This is easy, though.
Yeah. You can do this, Gus. You don't. I didn't even look. The no look 3 bamboo cut.
Solid effort.
Same again, right?
Same again.
There's a thing.
And then a little bit more though. Oh, you might find that with this one, yeah. Oh, hit a wrong button, Gus. You hit a wrong button.
Sorry.
Oh, do I have to do that one again?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, that does feel cool.
Last second.
That's
Well done.
awesome.
Easy.
Easy, he says.
Okay.
Let's see how easy it is. For Atsu, it's not a problem. Nice.
Thank you so much.
Looking for a job.
Feels good.
I'll grab that controller. Gus, because you thought that was so easy, I'm going to get you to put this on.
We didn't discuss this.
Yeah. Rob, I want you, Rob, to be the master, and that is your student.
Sensei.
You're going to call out, you're going to be the sensei, absolutely.
That's
And you're going to call out for us the
We really didn't
the
discuss
button
this.
prompts on screen. Gus is going to press them in order, just listening to the voice of his sensei.
Okay. That's
You can do
easy
that,
enough.
can't you, Gus?
Yeah, no. Yeah.
Yeah, I thought it was easy.
I heard it was easy.
Well, hang on. Once you say it to me, I just have to remember. Oh, God.
Yeah, you just have to remember it. You just have to remember it.
Sure. Okay. Rob? You here
Rob,
for
take
me?
the lead.
I'm here for you.
What have I got?
Circle, triangle, circle.
Now, where are they?
You forgot?
That circle,
Yep.
triangle,
Yep.
circle.
Yep.
Thank
Impressive.
The sensei.
you. Okay, what am I adding to that?
All right,
Circle.
you're doing the same again.
Circle, triangle, circle.
And then LL.
That one?
Yep, L1, L1.
Such a nice way to know I
Okay.
got it. All right, this is
All
going
right,
to get...
same again. Circle, triangle, circle. LL, triangle, circle.
Sorry. Wait. Circle, triangle, circle. No. Circle, triangle, circle. LL,
And then back the way you came.
triangle.
And then back the way you came.
Yeah.
Triangle, circle.
Simply go back the way you came.
Circle, start in.
What? Sorry, I didn't feel it there.
Circle,
Thank you.
Circle.
So, triangle,
Yeah.
so, da.
Yep, back the way you came.
Then there might be the secret ones at the end.
Oh, I didn't think of that.
Oh, that's so funny.
0 bamboo!
None of them?
Wait, what? Oh, circle,
You missed,
circle.
you missed.
He can't see the button.
Here we go, here
You
we go,
can't
here
see
we
the
go.
buttons. I forgot about that part.
No.
4
Oh, you
bamboo.
were close. You're all
I
right.
think this is your last strike.
1, 2, 3, 1.
6.
Are we out of turns?
No,
Oh,
go
no.
ahead. Go again. I'll give you one more go.
Better.
Circle, triangle, circle. LL, triangle, circle.
That's right.
Okay.
Hey! That must feel good.
Beautiful stuff.
Beautifully done.
Nice.
Your
Ruby, do you
spirit
want
has been
to just
increased.
roam around the game
Yeah,
for a
I
bit?
do.
That's nice.
Lovely.
Well, we saw a little bit of a taste of swinging a sword there. I was just running around enjoying the beautiful scenery. But combat has clearly evolved with Ghost of Yōtei. What should players expect from the new arsenal of weapons?
The weapons are great. So Atsu is not honor bound like Jin was, so we basically went ham with the combat on this game. She is not afraid to get in there, get scrappy, and improvise. And even characters all around the game are always joking with Atsu, like, "This is a very interesting style of combat you have. Does not seem formally trained," and they're always giving her a rough time about it. So we kind of leaned into it in the animation direction and in all the gadgets in the game as well. And I always love when a hero always has a trick up their sleeve when it seems like they're down and out and they can pull out pocket sand and pull one over on the enemies. And so for all the different weapons, we tried to come up with this animation direction and combat style where it feels like she's really thinking on the fly and she's more improvisational. And it gives her the kind of Yojimbo feel to it. But one of the other things that we really went after on the game was taking all the secondary and tertiary weapons as well, like the quick fires and even some of the charms have little abilities on them.
Yeah.
And then trying to find a reason why they would be in the world and why the characters would be interested in teaching it to you or giving it to you. So we created all these sensei missions for the game. And we have now seen every training montage on YouTube available that has ever been made. And I thought it was really cool because usually you find these things in a shop or maybe they're just in a chest. But instead we had this idea of what if we scatter them around the world and make each one a little mystery or a little quest to find it. And it seems really cool because no matter where you go in this game, and this is the most open game we've ever made at Sucker Punch, there's always different things that keep your combat style evolving, whether that's the armors or the charms or the quickfires or the core weapons, which, yeah.
Well, speaking of the sensei missions that do unlock the other weapons and gadgets, personally one of my favorite things about the game, because the way you guys designed the montage, as you say, or the way you learn, is fascinating because it really puts the player at odds with the technique they're learning. Whose idea was that? How did that come about? And can you explain potentially sort of how you came up with that as a really mean way to make people think they're not good at the game?
Oh yeah, there's one early in the game which I won't spoil for you, but it's particularly designed to make you feel like you are struggling as a player and then getting better, just like a real training montage in Kill Bill or in even a Steven Seagal movie. I told you we've seen every training montage ever at this
Scrape
point.
in the barrel.
Yeah, that's right. Some of them are all right. But it really comes down to how can you make the player interested in learning something and make it feel filmic and like it's an actual sequence or a mini adventure with these different senseis. So we ended up with a Yari sensei who has their own kind of training techniques, and another one who's a Kusarigama teacher. But I don't want to spoil any of them for you. But we really tried to come up with something different for each teacher that makes it feel a little bit like a film montage. And I think in the end they're pretty novel and quite clever.
They all feel really distinct, and also there's a use case for every single one of them. I often find in a game where I have options, I stick with the thing that I learn best and I have mastered. But this game encourages you to use the arsenal in combat with the types of enemies you encounter in a single kind of skirmish. Where did that come into the design, and was there consideration for what you've unlocked? Suddenly the open world encounters develop because of your own arsenal?
Oh yeah, especially the bounties was
Yeah.
a big thing for us. I don't know if anyone's played them yet, but each one has kind of got its own combat personality, and sometimes on a game you call it a combat puzzle. It's designed to make you think in different ways or try to solve it in interesting ways. But of course, no matter how you create it as a developer, players always find much more interesting ways to solve it than you ever expected. And so when it comes to the combat puzzle, you have the opposite of it, which is the combat creativity and how you can inspire people to mix and match different things to solve that combat puzzle in interesting ways. So we actually added loadouts, which were, they're really, really simple little feature in the game, but I love them because you can have a couple of different builds. And I think I was one of the first people in the studio to really mess around with them. And it was super exciting because at a certain point, there's all these features in the game and it's starting to come online and you're seeing how it really comes together. But then you start making the builds and you're like, okay, I can play this game kind of like a tank. I can play it kind of like a quick fire master using all these charms. And then I can play it like a ranged assassin. And that was a really terrific moment when we graduated to enough cool creative features in the game. But then people started finding even more combinations and even more ones that we didn't expect. And then I'm told from TikTok it's called your drip, by the way.
Well, I was going to say, if this breaks your heart or not, I've only been using the loadouts to save different fashion.
Yeah, exactly. I found out people customize the looks based on the combat style they do as well, which I think is terrific.
It's super cool.
It's so a lot of it is about how can we make it as creative as possible for people, even if we could have never predicted some of those
I like that you've got a level of watching people expand, and it's like, that's what we planned for. And then they go even further, and you're like, whoa, ran it back in. This is not how we intended. But again, that's always a lovely surprise, I imagine, seeing.
We have a rule which is like, just trust the player.
Yeah.
We try to design the game knowing players are intelligent, they're creative, they're curious, and so anytime we feel like we're trying to design the game into a box too much, we're like, just let go. They'll have fun.
Totally.
They'll
Rob,
have a
look
good
at this
time.
crowd.
Yeah.
Do you trust them?
I trust them all with my life.
There you go.
With a with
There you
a
go.
blindfold
on while I
Now,
do a
what's your
bamboo
favorite
chop.
panel, huh?
Speaking of the story itself, we've talked about the mechanics and some of that sort of stuff. As you mentioned up top, the story here, very cinematic, very based on, revenge cinema, that kind of stuff. How important but interesting was it having this new story with Atsu and developing this narrative? Where did you guys springboard off from?
Oh yeah, I mean, I really love Atsu, and I'm really just so thankful to Erika Ishii, who did a phenomenal performance in this game. And I've been watching Atsu evolve and grow up in front of me for 3 years now, while I play the game every day and every week. And originally Atsu was we knew she needed to be confident and determined and voracious like a real samurai film, but she actually brought a heartwarming and charming tone to the character that really ended up shaping a lot of who Atsu is. So we always had this very strong idea of a wandering mercenary, Lady Snowblood-inspired story, very lethal land in Hokkaido. But then Erika's performance actually started to shape Atsu in ways that we didn't expect, or at least I didn't. And so we ended up redoing some things in the game, especially around Atsu's homestead. And we realized the place where Atsu lived and where these events took place 16 years ago, a lot has changed since she's been away. And she has changed since she's been away as well. So around, I think, 1 year before the end of the game, we went and redid some of the dialogue, and we invested really heavily in making the area around her homestead feel like a bit of a homecoming, where it's almost like when you go back to your high school or your junior school, and everything feels smaller and slightly different and slightly familiar. And I'm really pleased with how it came together because we added some memories, we changed some dialogue, and it was really because Erika found that character of Atsu, and we wanted people to understand not who Atsu was just as a vengeful Onryo, but also as a human.
That for me is the really salient point. I kind of went into this game, it's a beautiful opening, very cinematic. The vengeance is right up the front of the game, and you really like dive in with some action. I won't spoil what happens, but it's epic. And then you go out into the world, and I was like, okay, this is a character just driven by fury and revenge. And then you have all these beautiful, subtle interactions with these characters in the world, and it's all in the performance. And I don't know what the feeling of an encounter is going to be because of how dynamic Erika's performance is. I don't know how she's going to react to an NPC's comments. You know, it feels like a really lived-in character. It doesn't feel like a paper-thin character about vengeance, you know. And I know that must have been in the script, and then Erika's performance added some texture to that, but it really is present right from word go.
And we're very fortunate to have, I guess you'd call it the support, to be able to go back and revisit those decisions as creative opportunities come about. You only get a few of those in a game, but when we started to see Atsu the human, not just Atsu the Onryo, we knew we had to take it with both hands.
Can I quickly ask, the revenge story often starts with strong silent type at the beginning. Is that something that is helpful or not a hindrance, but how does that play into the beginning of a journey, getting to know a character, having them be so reserved and so, how does that change the way you let the players learn about the character and grow fond of them? Because again, love the character, but she's got to warm up a little. Like, she comes in cold and vengeful. Like, is that trickier or more fun to play with?
We want players to be role-playing as Atsu from the very start of the game. One of the reasons the game is an origin story is so that you and Atsu can go on this adventure of growth together.
Yeah.
And so we tried to strike a balance between like what you might call a James Bond opening, which is electric and gets you into the game and feels super exciting, and then have a heartwarming sequence about the past, where you can actually swap between the past and the present on the PS5 controller, which is pretty crazy tech. Thank God I didn't have to code it, but anyway. And so we were trying to strike a balance between Atsu the Onryo and Atsu the human. But one thing that was for certain is we always would come back to this key statement of Atsu cannot be a psychopath in this game. If players don't understand what motivates her or the emotions behind her or even the trials and tribulations as a human that she goes through, she won't be relatable. And so that is, you are correct, it is a bit of a cold open in the game, which is electric and cool and interesting. But then we had to work out how to also show you Atsu as a person who has real pain.
Totally.
The minute after that cold open, you find yourself in an open world and a non-linear story in front of you. And that, I think, is encapsulated best in the character development of Atsu. That challenge must have been so at the forefront of developing this game of, we have a character, they're going through a story of character growth and an understanding of the people in the space that they're in. And you can't determine which way, by design, the player is going to go. What was the most challenging thing about letting Atsu become Atsu in a world where player has so much control over the direction that she travels physically?
Oh yeah, no problem, right? Piece of cake. I mean, the simple answer is we designed the game to be kind of like a diamond shape, right?
Okay.
Where there's like a strong, scripted opening, a lot of exploration that makes you feel like a real wanderer, and then a clear ending to the game as well. But the more complicated version was when we actually started to write the story of the game and seeing the impact of how this wide diamond-shaped middle would work. And, for any fans of Tsushima or games with buddy characters in them, it's probably clear that these buddy characters are the, ciphers and the communication between the hero that lets you understand them as people, as those going through different challenges. They're your adventure pals as well. So we always want you to have as much time with these characters as possible. But we started to run into genuine challenges with this where human beings don't neatly wrap things up after one conversation. They have frustrations, and those linger, and things are not so neatly tied up with a bow all the time. And when you were on the tail of, say, the Oni, if you went to the tail of the Kitsune and you just had a very spicy conversation with another character, it was not going to honor the narrative if then in the tail of the Kitsune, those characters are all happy-go-lucky and ready for an adventure. So we actually had to, we had to sit down with this problem quite seriously, and we looked at 3 different solutions. One was we could make each tale of the Oni, the Kitsune, the Saito brothers linear, like Ghost of Tsushima, where different parts of the space unlock. And we hated this idea because we were trying to make the most free, trust the player, open world game sucker punches ever made. So we really, really did not like the idea of locking off these different areas of the game. And the second was, well, if the characters have had a particularly emotional or tough conversation in one mission, we could turn off the other mission in the other area until you keep going. But we hated this almost more because in Ghost of Yōtei and Ghost of Tsushima, we're always trying to honor the player's time and their travel experience. We never want you to get anywhere and have what we call an exploration letdown. So if you turned up to a mission and it's grayed out and it says, this character is mad at you, we're like, well, this does not honor the player's time and it doesn't honor the player's trust. And the third option was we could dedicate a character to each tale. We could dedicate a side character to the tale of the Oni. We could dedicate a side character to the tale of the Kitsune and one to the other parts of the game as well. And it was great because once we worked that out, each one of them could become almost like its own season of a TV show. And the characters did not have to be in the same places at the same time. And then we had to do all the work for it because we also had to write all kinds of branching dialogue. The second part of this is if Atsu and these characters have made a real connection on something or completed a major event, our players, our fans, expect that we will honor the state of that character and the narrative of that character. So we wrote all kinds of branching dialogue throughout the game so that no matter how far you are, it still makes sense and it actually calls back to the choices and decisions you've made across the game.
So you picked the hardest one.
We picked the hardest one.
Yeah, good work.
That's right.
Amazing. We're going to move on and talk a little bit about the world building, but just before we get to that, I'm a bit of a game maker myself, and I put together a little game that I thought we could play as a little breather in between this. It's what's known as a rebus game, which I discovered after I came up with it. It has already existed, but I'll need a bit of crowd involvement. But mainly this is for you, Rob. What we're going to do is see a couple of items. This is just an icebreaker, just to warm the room back up before we get into the last little home stretch. You're going to see a series of images that I've picked out on screen. You're going to put them together and try and spell out or potentially find an item that relates to Ghost of Yōtei. I'm going to start with an easy one. Crowd can work into this a little bit, but there's 3 pictures up there. There was no way to segue this from such a nice answer before, by the way, so I'm just launching into this. But have a look there. Tell me, what do you see? Is there anything that relates to the game you worked so well on? Sounding out. What have we got in front of us?
Katana.
A piece of cake.
There it is. That's an easy one to start there. That is the katana.
3 years, and I can answer that one.
There we go. It only gets weirder from there.
All right.
Just going to leave you with this one.
Believe. Turn back time.
Sure. And
Share.
let's work with that. Let's go moving on from that. What are we seeing next to that?
Oh, cherry blossom.
Cherry blossom. Well done.
Yes.
You got
Very
that
nice.
so quickly. Oh my god.
I know Cher.
The man knows share.
I stayed at Cher's house once.
Well, now you've caught on
Did
to
you?
it.
Palm Springs.
Okay.
Sorry, what?
Rest of this panel is about the time you stayed at Cher's house.
Oh,
You stayed at her house?
anyway.
We'll come back to
We'll
this. This was
come
not
back to that.
approved
We'll come back
in
to
the
that. We'll
whole
come
one.
back to that.
Back to my awesome game. What are we looking at here? This is a trickier one. Anyone from the audience?
Dustin Hoffman.
Grappling
I'm
hook.
hearing mutterings. Grape, linguine, minus the weenie, plus the hook.
Minus the weenie. You shouldn't have said that. You shouldn't have said that.
These took me a whole afternoon, guys. So you'll sit down and enjoy them. Let's see the next one. That was, of course, grappling hook. This is an easy one, right in the middle. What's a big part of the game in terms of the characters you meet?
Oh, the wolf pack.
That'd be the wolf pack. Just the response I wanted.
So good at Rebus games. Have you thought about going pro?
I have actually quite a few times, but
Could we get this into the game somehow?
myself and the Rebus community do not get along.
The Rebus
There's
community is
trouble
a
in
tough
the
one to
Rebus
crack.
community.
It's a tough one to crack.
It
You're
is
all
so
pros-
political, you wouldn't believe it.
You're all pros at this now. So this is a really easy one. We've talked about it today. Ruby, we went through these.
You can get it. Ruby, you got this one. You've done it.
Oh, I whispered it to myself. I didn't know I was allowed to say it.
You're on a microphone.
Oh, word. Bamboo strike.
That is bamboo strike.
strike.
Well done, Ruby.
Very nice.
Got it.
And finally,
That black text is not doing what you think
it's
it
not
does.
actually. We can see them here.
It's like really.
It's okay up on the monitor though. It's
That's
fine.
true.
Oh, okay, cool.
We can
We can see
something different.
cheek.
a
we
great
see
moment
cheeks.
from the
We can see a
previous
lot of cheek
game.
down here.
Let's piece this together. What's the word we're seeing here? Sound it out. You got a microphone? What have we got?
Hot spring.
What are you actually
Thoughtfulness.
seeing though?
Well, technically, what aren't you seeing? But the arrow is indicating. We are seeing butts.
Butt.
Thank you for screaming that out.
Even.
Trade. Trade.
We're seeing two of them. So we're seeing
Oh. Assassinations.
assassinations. Well done. Round of applause from everyone. He put up with my terrible game.
Delightful.
Bravo. Well done, Gus.
Thank
Good
you.
job, Gus.
Great stuff.
Good
That
job,
applause.
Gus. Yeah. Good job, Rob.
Sure. I've been told I'm sitting out the rest of this.
And now jumping into world building and exploration, Ghost of Yōtei's world feels so rich and layered. What were some of the guiding principles behind designing such an open and immersive environment like that?
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, obviously we're very inspired by what we saw in Hokkaido and all the shapes and different curiosities and the natural world and really how wild it felt. But this time around we had like, I might call it a little bit of a chip on our shoulder to make sure that everything in the game felt handcrafted and hand-touched. And you know what, this is where I want to shout out our incredible writer, Ariana Martinez.
Grande?
No, I wish.
Oh, okay.
But she had worked on
Martinez.
Horizon, and usually when you hire a writer, they always want to do the big story. And since COVID, we've been able to hire people who we never thought we'd be able to work with because we can work with internationals. We're able to hire some people from Mass Effect and from Horizon. And she said, I want to do all the side content, and I want to bring it all to life, and I want to give it all its own story and world building and lore. And she could not be more brilliant, truly. And to have someone on the team who can work with the designers like that, I think players have responded to it in ways we couldn't have quite expected. Because, of course, we were always asking ourselves, why would this be here? How would this make sense here? How does it contribute to the tale of the Oni in this area? Or how does it contribute to Atsu and a personal growth? Or how does it make you feel like you're a wandering mercenary? But she knew how all the lore worked. She knew how all the side characters, they all had their own little bios that she had written and little compendiums. And inside somewhere in her documents, I don't even know where they are, but there's even a back history of what was happening with Atsu across the 16 years. She had thought everything out, and worked with the designers. And that narrative commitment really lifted the tide on all of the side content and all the exploration in the game. So hats off to her and to all the designers, because the designers, they really wanted everything to be handcrafted, and then Ariadna found all this fabulous storytelling that made it feel real and personal and threatening and mysterious in some cases.
I think, I'll ask you about narrative pacing, because obviously that's a tricky thing to navigate in an open world experience where players have the freedom to kind of go at their own pace. But because of that information, that you feel the story of Atsu in all the side missions as well. Anything that you engage with feels so connected to the overall story of this character in this world.
Thanks.
Where did that, does it come into play just at the writing level, or, because I'm distracted all the time, but it constantly feels like I'm rewarded for being distracted.
I think it's great. The best compliment an open world game can get is that I felt like I was in an almost rhythmic flow. There's almost different rhythms you can do on a game, some legatos, some boleros, some arpeggios, and it sounds very philosophical, but you're trying to get little patterns into the game that feel fun and feel interesting and feel curious. So we're always thinking about the pacing of the game and the story missions in the open world itself. But also, this is kind of a technical thing, but at Sucker Punch, we've been building the engine since infamous Second Son.
Sorry. It's a wonderful engine.
Oh.
Trust the player.
He'll be fine.
Anyway, people just started getting really fast at making things in the game.
Yeah, cool.
So we could take on so many opportunities this time that a lot of stuff was planned out, but some stuff was truly organic as well, where the world would get a little more developed and we'd think, okay, well, we could probably do something with that. And we were able to get it done really quickly, and our writer was particularly fast at building this world and characters with us. So it actually speaks kind of to how long Sucker Punch has been in business and how long the team has been making games together and how much the engine has evolved over time, because we were basically able to take a lot of fun opportunities as they came up and as we saw the landscapes evolve, as well as seeing Atsu evolve and as well as seeing the Yōtei 6 evolve over time as well.
Absolutely. And there are so many cogs in that machine. How do you ensure that every experience that the player's getting in the game, each activity type, whether it's a fox den or a bounty, feels really distinct and rewarding?
The simple answer is we're always trying to make you feel like a wandering mercenary, a sellsword. And so if it can do that, it's going to be a net positive for the game, because the game is trying to make you feel a little bit like Ogami Ito or Lady Snowblood or these fabulous Yojimbo-style wandering characters that you've seen. So anytime the game can inspire you to feel like a wandering Ronin who is getting their butt kicked, then it's going to be a good time. Yeah.
I'm the blindfold guy from before, okay?
Put it back on, maybe it'll help. Hey.
To call attention to it, the game is going for a vibe, right?
Yep.
We're trying to make it feel like a real film come to life. And the lethality you're seeing is part of that. So, a lot of the time when we're making decisions, we're just asking ourselves, does this actually contribute to the fantasy, or is it empty calories? And that's kind of why the game is a little more lethal than some other games as well, is because that's how the samurai films worked. The blows mattered, and getting shot off a horse really flung you back. And also Ronin, they're pretty broke in these tales. Like Travis Hammond's Heart of the Ronin. Ronin are hungry all the time. And wandering sellswords, they do not have tons of cash. They don't have fancy samurai armor. They don't have a lot of friends either. Usually their friend is a dog or a pet.
Yeah.
And all these terrific stories you can read, I encourage you to. You'll see one thing in common, which is that Ronin and wandering sellswords, they're kind of vagabonds. And so when you translate that feeling into the game, the lethality and the feeling of wandering are pretty good things to lean into.
Yeah. Well, there's a whole world out there for everyone to explore. We're going to go to audience questions in a second, but I did want to ask, and you can feel free to maybe push people in a direction without spoiling, but are there any hidden details or Easter eggs in this world that you haven't seen people talking about, you are excited for them to discover? One day a TikTok's going to pop up and it's going to be like, oh, yeah, they found it.
I think they're finding them all too quickly. We found this on God of War as well. We had a puzzle with Norse runes on God of War, which we thought would take people a year, and they solved it in like 4 hours. And this time around, it's kind of the same. All the secrets that we thought would take people ages to find, they seem to find it about day 2 of the game being out. But there is some cool stuff in there if you're a fan of Sucker Punch games, and of course, there's lots of little secrets and mysteries in the game as well.
Cool.
Do we want to launch into a couple of audience questions?
Yeah, for sure.
Great. Okay. Well, we'll just finish up by going through that you guys have submitted. So first of all, Sage has asked, do you need to play Ghost of Tsushima before Yōtei?
No, I don't think so. I mean, Yōtei is an entirely unique origin story. I certainly hope you play Ghost of Tsushima. It's a terrific game. It's a real banger, and I hope you have a good time with that as well. But Ghost of Yōtei, self-contained story. It's the tale of Atsu 300 years after Tsushima. And it's a vengeance quest for the Yōtei 6.
And also, a real banger.
A real banger.
Good. There
Put
you
it on
go.
the box.
This next one comes from Josh, clearly a Nujabes fan in the crowd. How did Watanabe mode come about?
I've been asked this question nonstop over the last 2 weeks, and our creative director, Jason Cannell, who's the former art director of the studio, and our creative director of the Ghost franchise, every time I've been asked this, I've had to say, I don't know. I think Jason, and he just seems to be good at these things. But I did find out finally last night that it was one of the designers on the team who he was chatting to. That's a big Samurai Champloo fan, and they got together and reached out to Watanabe, who was really excited. And the guy's named David, by the way, the designer. And it came from a moment of inspiration. And Watanabe said, "I have the perfect person to work with us on this," and he was really excited as well. So yeah, inspiration into game pretty quickly on that one.
It talks to that point you were making about it feeling like a vibe
It's a
as
vibe,
the
man.
general
Very much a vibe.
tone
I've
for
got
this
it
game.
on. I'm not turning it off.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Everything in the
sometimes
game.
at Sucker Punch we're like, well, how would this work for design-wise, and how would that work? And then people are like, what if it's just a mood?
Yeah, it's a
We'll
mood.
burn through a couple more quickly. Peter?
Sure thing. Hadley wants to know where you would recommend to visit in Hokkaido on a holiday.
Oh, that's good. I would, we went to the Shiratoko National Park, which was really fabulous. I mean, that was really great. You can see where bears climb up trees because they want to eat the grapes. Did you know bears like to eat grapes in
That was
Hokkaido?
the
The
grapes and
linguine.
the-
And linguine.
And the linguine as well. That was,
Yeah.
it's fine.
And then I would certainly go anywhere where you can see Mount Yōtei, and then, which there's quite a few different perspectives you
It's
can
big.
see. And then we went to, I think it's called the Nebutani Museum with the Ainu, and that is incredible because they actually have the different structures and different artifacts and different devices. And the mythology that we learned a lot about with the Ainu people is really curious and interesting and quite different from what I expected it to be. So if you're interested in Japan and indigenous culture, you can't beat that one because there's a lot to learn about how the culture came about.
Amazing.
I might take this next one
The
because
serious
it
one?
feels really personal to
Go
me.
for it.
This one comes from Tom. Please, dear God, tell me you can still pet the foxes?
You
Question
can
mark?
absolutely pet the foxes in this game. And
A rippling applause for the foxes.
I'm proud to say I went to the mat. Do you know what that means? Go to the mat. Like, you say, if I only get one thing in this game, it's
Yeah.
got to be this. And it was to make sure we had some extra fox pet animations.
Nice. So we got you to thank for that.
Yeah.
Lovely.
Actually, all credit to our designer, Natasha Lamb, who, through me, messaged me every day for about a year asking when we were getting new fox pets. So it's actually her. It's the genius.
This might be a tricky one. It's from Xander. No spoilers, though. Who's your favorite of the Yōtei 6?
Oh, I like the snake. I think the
Snake.
snake's great. I wish he was in the game for a bit longer.
Wish he was
Yeah,
longer.
I was
Yeah.
gonna- are we? Are we
like this.
If you're yet to play the game, you'll meet the snake early on, and he won't be around for much longer. So,
He's super slimy.
yeah,
It's great.
he was
Super
cool.
slimy.
He was a cool character.
Yeah, I liked him a lot. The actor
well-
chewed it up.
I did want to give you the floor, Rob, if there was anything that you wanted everyone to know about Ghost of Yōtei before we wrap.
Just thanks for all the support and for all the love on the game, and You know, these games take quite a while to make. I'm sure many people here are really interested in game development or work on games yourselves. So shout out to all the partners of everyone at Sucker Punch who supported us through the development of the game, especially my husband Sean, who is I love to the moon and back. And I didn't get to thank him on the radio in New Zealand the other day, but I was meant to dedicate a song to him, which was Kylie Minogue Magic, but thank you to all thank you to all the
and
partners.
I will be doing the rendition as we wind.
So we're all going to
get
sing
everyone out of
Kylie
here
Minogue's
tonight.
Magic before we walk out.
No. Well, we just want to say thank you so much for taking the time to talk with us, to be here at PAX, and to have genuinely a really fascinating conversation about an incredible game. Ghost of Yōtei came out last week for PlayStation 5. For those of you who put your phones up before to say that you haven't played it, but you're going to, that's an agreement now, you have to. But again, Rob, thank you so much. I really appreciate having you here. Can we have a big round of applause for Rob, everyone? Thank you so much.
And thank you to all of you for coming. Really appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you so much for coming, everyone. Enjoy the rest of PAX.
Cheers.